I just told you which vans to buy in 2026. Now let me show you the 5 that'll drain your bank account and ruin your retirement plans. In my last video, I covered the smart buys, but here's what matters more: avoiding the disasters. Because buying the wrong campervan isn't just expensive. It's life-altering when you're stuck 1,200 miles from home with a $7,000 repair bill and no warranty coverage. I'm breaking down 5 campervans that look perfect in the dealer lot, but will destroy your budget within 24 months. And yes, 2 of these directly contradict what other YouTube channels are telling you to buy right now. Let's get into the mistakes you need to avoid. 1. The Volkswagen California. The European trap. Starting with the van nobody in my last video asked about, but half of you are considering if you're in Europe, the Volkswagen California Ocean and Coast models. Here's the problem. VW stopped updating the California's core platform in 2021. You're buying 2026 model year vans built on 2019 technology. The infotainment system is already outdated. The safety features are a generation behind, and the diesel engines don't meet upcoming Euro 7 emissions standards that take effect in 2027. That last part is critical. When Euro 7 hits, your 2026 California will face restricted access to major European cities. Paris, Amsterdam, Brussels, all implementing low-emission zones that'll either ban or heavily tax your van. You're buying a vehicle that's about to be regulated into irrelevance. But here's where it gets financially brutal. VW California depreciation is accelerating. A 2022 model that sold for 75,000 euros is now worth 51,000 euros. That's a 24,000 euro loss in 3 years. Compare that to a Ford Transit Custom Nugget or a Mercedes Marco Polo, both holding 15 to 18% more value because they're on actively updated platforms. And for U.S. buyers thinking about importing one, parts availability is a nightmare. You're ordering from Europe with 6 to 8 week wait times and paying 40% markup on components. I watched someone wait 11 weeks for a pop-top canvas replacement. Their entire summer travel season gone. The California was brilliant in 2018. In 2026, it's a nostalgia purchase, not a smart investment. And if you think that's bad, this next van is the one I specifically recommended in my last video, but only under certain conditions that 90% of buyers ignore. 2. The Mercedes Sprinter 4-cylinder, when luxury becomes liability. The 2025 to 2026 Mercedes Sprinter with the 2.0-liter 4-cylinder turbo diesel. In my last video, I said this van is worth buying. If you meet 3 criteria, you're planning 100,000 plus miles, staying near major cities, and can afford $5,000 per year in maintenance. Here's the reality. 9 out of 10 buyers don't meet those conditions. They buy the Sprinter because it's a Mercedes, because it looks premium, because every influencer has one. Then reality hits at 65,000 miles. That 4-cylinder engine is struggling under the weight of a full conversion. Mercedes built this motor for European commercial delivery vans doing short city routes, not American highway cruising with 3,500 pounds of solar panels, water tanks, and gear through mountain passes. The turbo failures are real. I'm talking to owners seeing turbos go between 60,000 and 80,000 miles. Replacement cost? $4,500 to $6,500, including labor. And that's if your local shop can even work on it. Many independent mechanics won't touch modern Sprinters because the diagnostic tools require Mercedes dealer access. Here's what I didn't emphasize enough in my first video: the DEF system problems. The diesel exhaust fluid system on these 4-cylinders is failing at alarming rates. Owners report DEF sensors going bad, DEF heaters failing, and the entire system throwing error codes that put the van into limp mode. You're stuck on the side of the road, hauling to a Mercedes dealer and paying $2,800 for repairs that shouldn't happen at 45,000 miles. But the real regret hits when you try to sell. The used market is flooded with sprinters from the 2020 to 2022 van life boom. Your 2025 Sprinter that cost $85,000 will be worth $52,000 in 3 years. That's a $33,000 loss. Remember in my last video when I said the Transit gets 18 to 20 miles per gallon versus the Sprinter's 24 to 26 miles per gallon, and how that fuel savings justified the higher cost? Here's the math nobody shows you. Those fuel savings get completely erased by 1 turbo replacement and 1 DEF system repair. You're not saving money. You're just delaying when you lose it. If you bought a Sprinter after watching my first video and you're using it exactly as I described, high mileage, near cities, big maintenance budget, you're fine. But if you bought it because it's pretty and European, start setting aside cash now. Now, this next one is especially painful because it's marketed specifically to the retirees and families watching this channel. 3. The Winnebago Revel. The $180,000 identity crisis. The Winnebago Revel. It's the van that tries to be everything and ends up being terrible at all of it. Winnebago took a Mercedes Sprinter 4x4, which already has the engine problems I just covered, slapped on a fiberglass pop top, installed a wet bath nobody wants, and locked you into a fixed floor plan you can't modify. Then they charged you $180,000 for the privilege. You're paying a $55,000 premium over a base Sprinter 4x4 for a conversion that's objectively worse than what quality custom builders deliver. I'm talking about shops like Storyteller, Benchmade, and others I mentioned in my last video who are building on Transit and ProMaster platforms with better materials, smarter layouts, and actual customization. But here's the specific problem with the Revel that nobody talks about. That 4x4 system is marketing, not capability. Yes, it has 4-wheel drive, but the Revel weighs 8,800 pounds fully loaded, sits on a high center of gravity, and has a breakover angle that makes serious off-roading genuinely dangerous. Multiple owners have reported cracked chassis rails after moderate trail use. Winnebago's response? User error. They're selling you an off-road image while legally covering themselves when the van can't handle actual off-road conditions. Here's the contrast that matters. For $180,000, you could buy a Ram ProMaster, the van I called the underdog in my last video, because of its 6 inches of extra interior width and lower entry height for older buyers. Have it professionally converted by a top-tier shop with exactly the layout you want, and still have $45,000 left over. That's a year of full-time travel. Or you could add a quality off-road trailer, or buy a separate 4x4 vehicle for actual trail use. The Revel isn't for people who want to go off-road. It's for people who want to look like they go off-road while staying in RV parks with full hookups. But if you want to talk about real financial traps, this next van disguises itself as the budget-friendly option.
4. Base model Ram ProMaster. Cheap now, expensive forever. Yes, I recommended the ProMaster in my last video, but only if you buy the right one. The base ProMaster 1500 with the 3.6-liter V6 and 0 options is a trap. That $38,000 price looks smart next to a $52,000 Transit until reality hits. No backup camera, no safety tech, no upgraded alternator, no factory upfitter prep. You save $14,000, then burn $18,000 fighting a van that wasn't built for real conversions. Weak wiring, single alternator, constant electrical compromises. The ProMaster 2500 high roof with safety and upfitter packages costs about $6,500 more, but saves roughly $11,000 in conversion costs because the infrastructure is already there. Builders actually want to work on it. Resale matters too. In 3 years, educated buyers will spot the cheap foundation instantly and crush your price. Base models depreciate 20 to 25%, not the usual 12%. If you're buying a ProMaster, spend the extra money. False savings are still false. And now, let's talk about a van that's genuinely dangerous to buy in 2026. 5. Pre-2024 Ford Transit, when the winner becomes the loser. The Transit is the smartest buy, but only 2024 and newer. If someone is selling you a 2020 to 2022 Transit at a deal, walk away. Those years had widespread 10-speed transmission failures, shuddering, slipping, full failure at 30K to 60K miles, replacement cost about $7,500. Ford patched it in 2023 and redesigned it for 2024 plus, but the problem vans are flooding the used market right now. You'll see a 2021 conversion listed at $55K that sold for $85K new. Looks like savings until the transmission fails. If you insist on pre-2024, demand full service records proving the transmission was replaced with updated parts, get a Ford dealer inspection, and budget $5K immediately. Parts availability is still the Transit's strength, but it doesn't matter if the transmission is a ticking bomb. 2024 plus Transit, still the winner. 2020 to 2022 Transit, lawsuit on wheels. Controversial take. Most people buying campervans in 2026 are buying the wrong thing. You don't need a $100,000 Sprinter or a $180,000 Revel. You probably don't even need a full custom build unless you're truly full-time. A $35,000 used ProMaster with a simple setup and $40,000 for travel will give you more life than a $120,000 Instagram van that sits parked 320 days a year. The worst vans aren't just unreliable, they're bought for status, FOMO, and aesthetics. If you're buying to impress people, you've already lost. Who should avoid what? Avoid the VW California in Europe post-2027. Emissions will destroy resale. Avoid the 4-cylinder Sprinter unless you truly meet all criteria. Avoid the Revel if you want real off-road value or smart money. Avoid base model ProMasters for serious builds. Avoid pre-2024 Transits without documented transmission upgrades. If a van fails the 5-year honesty test, don't buy it. The market rewards patience and punishes impulse. Buy for your real life, not your fantasy feed. So, did I trash your van or save you from a bad deal? Drop real ownership experience below. And watch the first video next so you know what to buy, not just what to avoid.